Psalm 128, 3 to 6, please, Tony.
128, 3 to 6.
Psalm 128,
Yeah.
3 to 6, please.
Your wife shall be like a fruitful vine in the very heart of your house, your children like olive plants all around your table. Behold, thus shall the man be blessed who fears the Lord. The Lord bless you out of Zion, and may you see the good of Jerusalem all the days of your life. Yes, may you see your children's children. Peace be upon Israel.
Yeah, so to see your children's children, you're going to be what? 30, 60, you're going to live into a good old age, weren't you? So that was a blessing on Israel for their children and for their generations. And then the opposite, John, in John 10:10, please.
The thief cometh not, but for to steal and kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly.
So, in the beginning, God wanted us to fill the earth with children. Then, after Noah and the flood, he said, go and multiply, fill the earth with children. And he said to Israel, be fruitful and multiply. But Satan, he hates life, doesn't he? He wants to kill, destroy, as it said. He's like a thief. And you had Cain and Abel, you had all the murders, you had Nimrod, a mighty warrior, they say, in front of the Lord, opposing the Lord. And you had many countless times through history. If you could go, Derek, to 9 Genesis, is this back in Genesis? Actually, 122, if you do, Derek, please.
Genesis
Chapter 1, verse 22. That's repeated in Genesis 9, 6 and 7. People, you'll be killed, but no, you're to go forth and multiply. So he's dealt with mankind with the flood, and these are the remaining 8, because they're going to start off again. And then, if you could go to Genesis 35:11, Pat, please.
35:11. And God said unto them, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins.
Well, lovely. So this was his chosen nation, if you like, to shine a light, really, to be salt and light, so that the rest of the world know how you should live and how you should be. So that's, if I give you that, please. Then. That's Hebrew, and that's Greek. Yeah. Now, we were doing a bit of Hebrew, and childbirth, if you tap in on your computers when you're home or whatever, in Hebrew, is a lay down. That's what childbirth is. Now, it just happens, a lay down is Lamed, Yod, Dalet, Hey. If you look on that, please, then Lamed as a numerical value of, it's about halfway down. 30. Yod, the little Yod with chisel. 10. Then Dalet, Aleph, Gimel Dalet. 4. And then the next one, Hey. 5. So you've got like there, in childbirth, you've got 30, 40, 44, 49, which is 7 by 7. So that's God's, way of filling the earth with his people made in his image is 49, which is like 7 by 7, yeah? And the other thing was the word womb in Hebrew which is the place where it all begins, is Rechem. R-E-K-H-E-M. And the same again, please, Lynn. Rechem is Resh, which is love.
Which is 200.
Yeah, then you've got a Het, which is a KH or a CH, as in Rebecca or Rebecca. Het, CH.
8.
8. And then on the end you've got a Mem,
Which is 40.
which is 40. Now that, the womb, comes out at 248. Okay, so that's God's place for all his new beginnings. You've got 248. So the womb in Hebrew is 248. Now, God's abbreviated name is El Shaddai, the plain is called El, and El is Aleph, which is 1 and 30. El is 31. Okay? Everybody with me on that? Is A or E, Al, this pronunciation. Al is 31. And 31 times 8, which is new beginnings, gives you the womb, 248. So you've got 3 8s is 204. 30 times 8, 240, plus 8 is 248. So that womb is God's engine for that new growth to fill the whole planet with his people. And it's 8 new beginnings by God, by Al. So, Exodus verse 1:16, please, Nancy.
Exodus what did you say?
Exodus 1, verse 16 and 17.
So they sent a message to Joseph saying,
Exodus.
Exodus, I don't know. Exodus 16. Hold on.
16 and 17.
Sorry to keep you waiting. And he said, when you are helping the Hebrew women to give birth and see them upon both birth stool, if it is a son, then you should put him to death. But if it is a daughter, then she should live. But the midwives feared God, and did not do as the king of Egypt had commanded them, but let the boys live.
That's right. Can you do 2 verse 1 as well, please?
And a man from the house of Levi went and married a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that he was beautiful, she hid him for 3 months.
And we all know who that was, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Moses, yeah. So he was a Levite, the Levite thing there as well, the Aaronic priesthood. So they were told Pharaoh was like the Satan of that day. He wanted all the babies murdered, didn't he? But the midwives, no, they feared Elohim and said, no, we're not going to do it. And then moving on, we go to Exodus 11, 1 and 5, please, Di. It was all the boys he wanted to kill as well, the seed.
And the Lord said to Moses, I will bring one more plague on Pharaoh and on Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go from here. When he lets you go, he will surely drive you out of here altogether. Speak now in the hearing of the people, and let every man ask from his neighbour, and every woman from her neighbour, articles of silver and articles of gold. And the Lord gave the people favour in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man, Moses, was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants and in the sight of the people. Then Moses said, Thus says the Lord, about midnight I will go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sits on his throne, even to the firstborn of the female servant who is behind the handmill, and all the firstborn of the animals.
So if you like, Pharaoh stepped into the ring against the God of Israel. He wanted all the Jewish Hebrew boys killed. So God stepped in and said, Moses, go and tell him, as a last plague, I'm going to kill all his firstborn animals, livestock, everything. So there was divine punishment for what he'd done. And then Exodus 20, verse 13, Terry, please. So they come out of Egypt now, they cross through the sea, and they're now going to get the laws of God written in stone.
Verse 13, did you say?
Please. Exodus 20:13.
Thou shalt not kill.
Yeah. Anyone else got a different version?
You shall not murder.
Yeah, murder's a bit more accurate in the Hebrew because obviously if you're going to stone to death adulterers and sodomites and murderers, you're going to have to kill them, aren't you? So murder means without reason. If you
Intentional, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, without a reason, yeah. So that was written into the stone. You couldn't go and murder anybody, otherwise there'd be punishment on you. Then please, Leviticus 18:21.
You shall not give any of your children to offer them to Moloch, and so profane the name of your God. I am the Lord.
So as well as telling them not to murder, God's pretty specific in the Levitical, these are the laws that are given to Levites to the priesthood. Do not do this. And he repeats it again at Leviticus 22 as well, please. 20 verse 2.
Yeah, wait. It's not.
Leviticus 20 verse 2.
To say to the people of Israel, any of you or any foreigner living amongst you who gives any of his or her children to be used in the worship of the god Moloch shall be stoned to death by the whole community.
To be what?
Stoned to death.
Yeah. So the whole community would have to
The whole
stone to
community.
death anyone who was offering things to Moloch, to this god. What Moloch wanted you to offer sacrifices to him and kill your children. So to stop it spreading in Israel and the 12 tribes, that was a specific thing from God. Stone them. The whole community stone them to death. So,
And what was Moloch? Do you know?
Moloch, we'll come on to that, it's coming, yeah. Tony, now if you can see what then happens in 1 Kings 11, the first book of Kings, chapter 11. Sorry, we go through from verses 5 to 13 because this is quite important.
1 Kings 11.
1 Kings 11,
Yeah.
and it's verses 5 right the way through to 13.
Okay.
So Israel had these kings, didn't they? David committed adultery, but then he went and had the husband killed, so he got blood on his hands, so he couldn't build God's temple. So Solomon comes along, he spends 7 years building his temple, but then he spends 13, which is sin, building his own house, and then he starts taking foreign wives, doesn't he? So it's only, you've only had a few kings, and boom, they're going wrong, as we're going to find out.
For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and did not fully follow the Lord, as did his father David. Then Solomon built a high place for Shemosh, the abomination of Moab, on the hill that is east of Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the people of Ammon. And he did likewise for all his foreign wives who burned incense and sacrificed to their gods. So the Lord became angry with Solomon because his heart had turned from the Lord God of Israel, who had appeared to him twice and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he did not keep what the Lord had commanded. Therefore the Lord said to Solomon, because you have done this, and have not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded you, I will surely tear the kingdom away from you and give it to your servant. Nevertheless, I will not do it in your days, for the sake of your father David. I will tear it out of your hand of your son. However, I will not tear away the whole kingdom. I will give one tribe to your son, for the sake of my servant David, and for the sake of Jerusalem, which I have chosen.
So God, because Solomon, they had King David, you had King Solomon, then you had the next king, but God said, I am going to tear that kingdom apart, because you haven't obeyed me. You've gone and worshipped Molech and the other various goddesses. Ashtoreth, some people say that's Ishtar, don't they? The goddess of Easter, where they dip the little eggs in the blood of murdered babies. So it's hating children, it's killing and murder. So God detests that. So he took the 10 tribes away, and off they went into captivity, didn't they? Way before the remaining 2 were more faithful. They were less in number, but they weren't worshipping false gods. They were staying with Elohim. So they stayed faithful, which is Judea and Israel, to meet Jerusalem. And we're even given that warning in Matthew, aren't we? Appealing to them when you were in Judea and Jerusalem. So he kept this area. Bearing in mind the Levites didn't actually have a land area, okay? So you've got a tribe without a land, which is the Levites. So the 10 tribes go off, and they're taken into captivity. And then what happens, John, please? In 2 Kings 23:10. So Israel don't lose their battles by doing right. They always get defeated by doing wrong. If you do right, God won't let you be beaten.
And he defiled Topheth, which is in the valley of the children of Hinnom, that no man might make his son or his daughter to pass through the fire to Molech.
So here it was again, and then if you can read as well, John, Jeremiah 32:35.
Jeremiah 32:35. And they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire unto Molech, which I commanded them not, neither came it into my mind that they should do this abomination to cause Judah to sin.
Yeah. So here it was, the world was sinning. Then God chose Israel, specifically told them, do not do that, so that they do it, so the 10 tribes go. And then here we are at Judah. Judah, they've seen all this go on, and he's saying to them, don't do it. The valley of Hinnom, that's like Gehenna, fire. They're actually now putting their children in there, and God's saying, you're now getting Judah to do the same. So what happens to Judah? They go off to Babylon, don't they? Captivity in Babylon. For 70 years, 70-year captivity. And they're only brought back and allowed the temple after that. When that generation has passed on, the next generation can come back and rebuild the temple, which somebody else helped build. Derek, if you can read Matthew 2, 16, 17, 18. So that was the end of the 10 tribes and the 2 tribes.
Makes you wonder, though, doesn't it, Mark, when they see that happening?
Well, why are we
And they
aborting
still-
babies now?
That's what
You know, are we thick?
you should wonder, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, Darren.
Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, when Rama was there a voice heard, lamentations and weeping, and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted because that they are not. Read on.
That's it. Fine.
Okay. So Herod, he denied the temple to be rebuilt, but he wanted to be the leader on his own terms. He wanted to stay in control of Israel. He didn't want this so-called promised Christ to come and become king. He was going to be king. Just as Pharaoh wants to be king, and just as the forthcoming Antichrist wants to be king. They want to be kings of the world on their own terms. So he did actually help the temple get rebuilt, so it was there to be destroyed by the Romans in the year 70. But he had that same spirit to kill little children. Now, if we go to Sheila, please, Psalm 139:13.
Did you say Psalm 3?
139:13.
Do this as well. For thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb.
Now, can anybody think of all the damage that is caused by abortion?
Yeah.
What? Give me one.
42 million.
Yeah, but so that's one social consequence. You've got 40 odd million less people. That's very conservative.
That's in this country.
No, here we're about 8 million. That's probably EU. That's probably the European Union. I think we're about 8 million and counting. There's about 500 yesterday. People were offered to lower that in modern terms.
Yeah.
And that was on the Sabbath, so.
But the worship of Moloch was for riches.
Well, careers.
And people are aborting babies for riches.
Good point, John, yeah. I mean, career, that's one. Riches, what are the reasons?
Easy life.
Convenience. I would also say there's a zeitgeist, there's a spirit in the air of the modern world that's so anti-God in this country, you know. It's saying you're in the wrong body. If you think you're in the wrong body, go and have a female body. If you're a male, totally impossible. It's saying men can be with men. And what does it say? If you, Terry, we go there, Romans 1, 14, 25. Sorry, 1, 24 and 25. Romans 1, 24 and 25.
Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, and changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
So they've chosen the lie instead of the truth. Because the truth is, man plus woman equals child. The lie is, we can do it another way. We can have two Catamites, sodomites, homosexuals, whatever you want to call them, can have a baby by adopting somebody else's baby. That's how they have their baby. Or if you're two females, you can have IVF, like Ruth Davidson in Scotland, the leader of the Scottish Conservative. She's pregnant, and she's got in a lesbian relationship with another woman, but got pregnant with IVF from somebody else. I mean, if that's conservative, what's liberal? And also, you've got this massive, great organisation that Tony was talking about, called Roman Catholicism. They've been Roman all over Europe, haven't they? Catholicism. But what do they teach from 1 Timothy 4? Where were we to? Sheila, Pat, please.
Which one was it?
1 Timothy 4.
1 Timothy 4.
What verse?
Verses 1 to 3.
1 Timothy. Sorry, which one was it? 1 Timothy 4.
Just 1 to 3, please.
And now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidding to marry, and commanding to abstain from meats, which God hath created to be received with thanks, giving of them which believe and know the truth.
That's it. So it's actually telling us that now, warning us, just as they were warned over to Noah, in the last days there will be this doctrine of demons being taught, where they forbid men to marry. I mean, demons is probably better because people consider the devil as one, but demons as many fallen angels. I mean, so I quite like demons in that. Well, devil.
That's what it's got in mind.
Yeah.
Doctrines of demons, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it comes from the same root, but there's many antichrists, but there is one antichrist. So they told us and warned us that there would be an organisation that would forbid marriage. And what can a Roman priest not do? Marry.
Celebrate.
And if anyone reads The Economist this week, page I think it's 64, 65, there's a book or a thing coming out on the net at the end of November. It's called The Red Hats or The Red Caps. It's an expose of what's been going on for 70 years with the cardinals and all their what they've been doing to children. For 70 years it's coming out. I think it's not coming out in print form, it's coming out over here towards the end of November. A chap called Scowling actually covered all the Hell's Angels in America, and he uncovered all the like drug dealing with the gangs and everything, and now he's picked on the cardinals of the Catholic Church because they're it's awful. So there's all these things in the world saying kill the baby, don't marry, don't have life. But God said, have life, be fruitful. Now, where are we to? Di or Nancy? Sorry? Nancy, you used to deal with birth, didn't you, a lot?
Oh yes, I was a wee boy.
Yeah, but isn't it joyful to see that child come through? Now, I didn't know this till yesterday, and I know biology is one of my least knowledgeable areas. But I was told that there was a 6-hour DVD on the human body, but it was by the BBC, but it was very good. They did go inside the body and everything. So they were telling me that when an embryo is just 8 weeks old, female embryo, it has 400 eggs in that created embryo, and they are the 400 eggs that it will release monthly from when you get to sort of 14, 15, right through once a month, 300 odd, it's 400, that's like 30 odd years, up to 50, to give you a chance for a baby. But you've only got those 400. You don't have, some don't have 100 and some have 10,000. You've all got that same number of eggs, and they are implanted in that embryo at just 8 weeks. And we murder those females at 24 weeks or 23 weeks. So it's phenomenal that that female fetus has already been given the equipment to have her own children later on in life. Right?
That's amazing.
A male sperm, how many? Right, there's about 500 million. They're produced at about 1,000 a second, okay? 1,000 a day. 1,000 a second. So it takes about 5.78 days to get 500 million sperm, and that's roughly what gives you a good chance. So that goes in, and there's only a little short period, a day or so, where they can go into the egg, or hit the egg in the fallopian tube to make someone pregnant. So the other, so birth itself is a miracle. Do you know what I mean? Those 500 million, most of them will die on entry into the female, because there is acid within the female to protect her and keep her healthy. And only, where was it? Let me get this right. Yeah, only a few thousand actually get as far as the fallopian tube. And then only 1 or 2 generally hit the egg, and one fertilizes and then you've got the embryo. But from those 500 million, you're down to 1 little sperm actually makes it to the end. And they call it the evolution, the survival of the fittest, but it's not. It's not the fittest one, it's just the way, God's God, isn't it? Now, mid-pregnancy as well, so we'll say a pregnancy is 9 months, that's 39 weeks, mid-pregnancy, after about 19 weeks, the baby has all 5 senses. So they are
Sight,
Hearing,
touch, hearing, smell,
and taste.
hearing,
Smell and taste.
and taste.
so touch is also that. So can a baby feel an abortion at 19 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a thing I call the silent scream, isn't there? I don't know if anyone's seen that's pretty harrowing, right? So that was it on that. Now, this death in this abortion industry, as John said, there's about 400 million in Europe. In this country, it started in 1967. And you compare the top, and then you've got what it's done to the European Union's demographic, what's happened in Africa, and then what's happened in Asia where they don't. Because most Muslims actually do not report their babies. So they have now got about 8 times as many children being born as Europe has every single year. These are from 15-year-olds. That's the number of people in each age group from 15 up to the time they die. So when they say they've got an Asian population, no, we haven't. in percentage terms we have, because our youth are so few. They're not getting any older than the other continents. It's just that they look more as a percentage because they've taken away the rest of the pyramid. And that is an absolute bloodbath for the last 50 years in Europe. It's phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? You can see it there in the chart. And this all came because someone said to me, what's the connection between 5 of the 6 founding members of the EU? What was the common market? Does anyone know?
Well, when's it started, you mean?
Yes, anyone know the 6 founding members?
That'd be Germany, wouldn't it? Germany be one of them? Germany, France, Britain, wouldn't it?
No,
No, they came
we
in
went
later.
with Ireland later, so
France.
France didn't want us to join.
Is it Holland?
Yeah.
Belgium?
Belgium.
Yeah.
The UK is obviously
Sorry.
And Italy?
Italy. Yeah. Treaty of Rome. 1957, wasn't it? Treaty
Yeah,
of Rome.
1957. But Italy, but we joined later.
Yeah, we joined in the 70s and the 70s.
Because de Gaulle didn't want us to join, did he?
Sorry?
De Gaulle didn't want us to join.
No sane man in the world would want to join.
That's French, pardon?
No sane person in the entire world would want
He
to
didn't
join.
want us to join.
And one more. It started off before that as Benelux, didn't it? It was a steel trade and coal merchant. Actually, that's a big, big band now. It's coal. That's what it started with. Benelux. That was the first 3. That they were the sort of foundation of the Treaty of Rome. That's Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. So I think Europe too.
Luxembourg, then.
So that's the 6. Of those, how many have children?
I mean, current leaders.
The current leaders that are in place now, that have allowed all this abortion and murder and same-sex abomination, how many of them have got children?
I don't think any of them.
The German, she hasn't got.
France?
No, I
Macron?
think he has
No, he married his ex-teacher who divorced her husband. No children.
Germany, no children.
Merkel left her husband, she left her and she married again with no children.
I don't.
No,
I don't think any
there's
of
none of
them.
them.
Mark Russ in the Netherlands, he's got no children. Paolo Gentiloni, Italy, no children. Xavier Bettel, Luxembourg, no children. And then we joined, didn't we?
Yeah,
And how many children has Mrs. May got?
none.
No. Then Ireland joined when we joined. And Miss Leo Radke, Ireland got. He's actually homosexual, so you can't know.
That's him out there.
Yeah.
Totally.
Ireland. So the only one, I believe, is Belgium of all those, because I couldn't find anything out on Belgium. So of all those, that's the only one, Belgium possibly, has got a child. And I was thinking that comes down, this is where the Antichrist is going to rise from, the EU.
But he's that took us in, had no children.
No, he was a homosexual with no children, had he?
He took us in.
Yeah. So you've got the UK, you've got the Netherlands, you've got France, you've got Italy, you've got Air, you've got Luxembourg, and you've got Deutschland. And not one of those, I call that UN field, not one of those people have a single child. And then what did we do the other week? Jacob, he had, I know he had 4 wives, but even for his one wife, Leah, he had 6 and then ended up with 33. So in a couple of generations, that went down to 70 nations, didn't it, from just Jacob. Whereas left in control of the world, these 7 people, there wouldn't be anybody living on earth in 20, 30 years' time. That's it.
That's brilliant.
It would just be a bloodbath. And someone else died. Someone else died in the field of blood, and that was Judas, wasn't it? He went against Jesus. 2/3 to 3/4 of Asia. I mean, it's not now, is it? The population of Europe was about 2/3 of that one. And now, if that's out here, Europe's EU's down there. Phenomenal.
The
Minister, Jean-Michel's got 2 children.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think it was him.
Population.
Have you done all the others?
Well, no, because I know.
Oh, right. I'd like to double check.
I didn't do this.
Made the 2 witnesses. Population of Asia. This is just have a
4.463 billion.
4.
4.463 billion.
Yeah, so that's the same as 4,463 million, yeah. Yeah, how many in Africa? You can do Antarctica, so.
That's why we move into.
216. Yeah, Europe?
Technology.
741.4.
So. Americas, did you say from North or just all Americas?
Only 741 million.
579 million.
Sorry?
579.
And that's for what?
North America.
North. What's South America?
422.5.
4.
422.
So that's about 1,000 million for Africa, isn't it? That's America. Americas.
Should we do Australia?
Yeah, please. Probably right. That's where you all want to go. You want a bit of space.
Plenty of space in Aussie.
Yeah.
Plenty of space over in Oz.
It's only around the edge, so you got sort of any population, isn't it?
24.6.
24 million. Does that include China, that Asian one? Because some say, oh, Russia, they got Russia in with that? Some have China and Russia in with it, some don't.
I don't have to look. Canada, 36.7.
That way, North America.
Right.
What is that? 1, 7, 3, 7, 4, that's roughly the world.
And the population of Asia, including China. 36.
Russia's massive as well, not a big place.
Don't know where to go.
If we took England, it would fit into Rhodesia or Zimbabwe 5 times.
5 times, yeah.
And the population of Zimbabwe is 1/5 of England.
Yeah, see, that isn't that much different to the EU once you take the abortion bit out, is it?
It's amazing. It says combined population of both China and India.
And India.
And India.
Yeah.
2.7 billion people in 2015, expected to grow to 5.26 billion by 2050. That's amazing.
It won't be as very good, will it? Yeah.
More than doubles.
Go back. Can we just do one quick thing? We've got a minute. Can you put in population of those in 1918, 100 years ago? That's what we're doing Remembrance today, 100 years. What Asia was in 1918? Or Europe, Africa?
Right. Well, that's what it is. You do.
I think that's amazing.